কিটু ক্যামেরাটা অফ করো, তুমি ঘুমায় আছো এটা দেখান তো কিছু নেই। Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Is everybody present here? So let us start with the program today's. The second class of political geography, Dhaka University, Department of Geography and Environment, and it is fourth year. Welcome everybody, every participants. So these are the ice melting classes. Beginning, I think today is the second class. And in the last class, we have discussed about the definition and subject matter. Political geography deals with the political entities of a state or any region or any city or other areas. And essentially, this deals with the locational significance of an area because of its very location in a certain location or area with reference to its neighboring states or regions. And here we'll discuss according to our syllabus. Please attentively note it down. Nature, first comes nature, scope, and objectives of political geography. Then the state and the nation. State, nation, nation state, multinational state, buffer state, nearest state, and territories. Their geographical features and locational significance, with special reference to the political geographical aspects. Then comes C, A, B, C. C, the states, location, area, then boundaries, frontiers, territorial waters, population resources, power, and demography. Role of demography in political geography. Population, particularly its demographic composition, age, sex, ethnicity, and racial, linguistic, religious composition affect the strength or weakness of a country. So this is also one of the aspects of the subject matter of political geography. Then core areas and capitals. Capital of a country or state is important in political geography. For instance, our capital is Dhaka city. It is centrally located, so it can serve the peripheral areas. And likewise, Delhi is located to the northwest of India. As a result, the northeast of India and remote southern portion is remains deprived of the services of the capital. So this remoteness weaknesses the strength of a country. Likewise, if we see the case of Russia, Russian Federation's capital is located in Moscow, which is in Europe, and the vast and remote Siberian areas or far eastern areas like Kamchatka and other areas are far away from the capital. As a result, the capital services and orders and administration become weaker in these remote areas. Thus, the location of a country or state is very much important. Then comes international organizations and relationships, external relations. In other words, this is called the foreign relation. If a country maintains good relation with its neighboring countries and other stronger countries, it simply strengthens the position and what's called strength of a country. Simply, for instance, our country, Bangladesh, maintains relation with its neighboring country, India, China, and other countries. So, from the perspective of economics, connectivity, and security, this relation is very important. At the same time, a country maintains relation with other foreign forum or organizations like United Nations organization, and sometimes they join other important blocks, economic blocks like SARC, ASEAN, and in the older days, Seattle, Cento, Warsaw Pact, etc. Bangladesh is one of the members of the what's called uh, Islamic. What's the name of that bloc? Islamic country.
OIC.
OIC.
Yes, OIC. So in the time of our necessity or emergency, these friendly economic blocs or organizations can extend their hands of cooperation towards our problems. So this study of these organizations and relationship with these organizations and countries is very important in the sphere of or scope of political geography. So this is the C. Section D incorporates world political patterns. Our world is divided into different blocks. European Union, then Gulf State Cooperation, Arab world, Middle East, Far East, ASEAN, Southeast Asian countries, then SAARC. These are the world political groupings, blocks. So these bear the colonial heritages as well. For instance, Bangladesh is Bangladesh is one of the members of. Can you hear me? Is there any problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So everybody is requested to give minute attention towards my deliberations. I'm telling you about or explaining the syllabus, political patterns, colonialism. What's called only a few decades back, until 1947, we are the colony of the Britishers. And likewise, almost all the countries of the world, excepting the stronger, bigger countries, are colonial masters. Most were the colonial subjects. Even India and China, part of China, then African countries, Arab countries, and whole of the South America, even the USA, Canada, Mexico, all these countries were the colonies of England and Spain, France, these countries, Dutch, Holland, etc. European countries are the colonial rulers, and Asian and African and American and Latin American countries are the colonies. And in the scope of political geography, studies of this colonialism, causes of colonialism, and how did we get rid of this colonial occupation, this should be studied. So this is why we have brought this colonialism, colonies, and decolonization. How did these countries become independent? And we have to discuss this in the scope of political geography. Then comes the capitalist and socialist realms. In only a few years back, decades back, the whole globe was divided into two bigger blocks. One is under leadership of United Soviet Socialist Republic, USSR, under Warsaw Pact. These are the communist bloc, and countries are Russia or USSR, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Romania, and this Czechoslovakia. These are the European countries. Then in Asia, Vietnam and China, Cambodia, Laos. These are communist countries. In Caribbean region, Cuba. And there were some communist lenient countries in Africa as well. They used to call themselves socialist countries. And thus, the globe was divided into communist countries or socialist countries, with central command economy, and the rest were capitalists under leadership of the USA. And most of the countries of Europe, England, West Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Holland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and many other countries, and Middle East countries, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Canada, USA. These are under the influence of the USA. And United States of America was the leader of capitalist world. But in the later part of the 20th century, in 1989 and 90, the communism was degraded and destroyed, and almost all the countries became the communist-free regions. And what is the reason behind this degradation of communism and positive and negative aspects of this change, and why this change took place? These are the subject matter of political geography, because this change has tremendously influenced the geopolitical, geoeconomical, and geostrategical scenarios of the earth. And the hegemonism of two nations, particularly the USSR and the USA, started to degrade, decay, and the unipolar global system, again under the leadership of the USA, started to take shape. And although the USA has become the single leader of this unipolar global system, still its role and strength have seriously been degraded because of this change, global change. And in the scope of political geography, we'll try to learn these aspects as well. My dear young scholars, not only in your academic or departmental examination, you'll be benefited if you study these subjects seriously. You'll be benefited in other spheres of your life, particularly in the competitive exams like BCS. You may encounter questions from political geography. Even in the Viva Voce, which carries around 100 or 200 marks, they usually ask most of the question from political geography. And these aspects, international relations, and these are essentially the part of political geography. You understand? For preparation of your, because you are in the fourth year, and you'll start your preparation for appearing in the BCS examination. This is why the subject matter, particularly the studies of political geography, states, nations, their transformation, and the strength and weakness of the countries, and communism, colonialism, decay and degradation of socialism, capitalism. All these are the subject matters of political geography. And in the BCS examination, you may encounter questions from these subjects. Then comes the development and the developing world. In the older days, we used to call as the third world countries. First world, USA, capitalist. Then second world, USA. Then third world. Other than these two countries and their direct, what's called affiliated areas, there were some countries, those who want to or wanted to remain independent, like India, Egypt, Cuba, Pakistan was also, undoubtedly it was influenced by under direct influence of USA, and India was direct influence of USSR, Russia. At those days, in those days, still they used to claim themselves to be the members of the non-aligned movement. And here, in the sphere of developing nations, after the decay of the two sphere of pivotal spheres, the US and USSR, developing nations started to appear with strength, like China and India, and many other nations, nation states are trying to show their existence here as developing nation. And Bangladesh is also one of the developing nations. They are not developed, but trying to do something. By now, China and India have already been established themselves as developed nations. And there are problems as well. Debates are there. Still, we learn the features, characteristics, nature of developing world. And in the scope of political geography, we'll study this. Then comes the big power sphere of influence and balance of power, geopolitical theories, and the foreign politics of big powers. We know, till to date, big powers like the USA and US, now Russia, these are the two main powers, major powers. And there are other powers like France, England. Although colonial age of the UK, England is over, still they maintain British Commonwealth. Likewise, France also maintains French Commonwealth. Spanish also maintains their sphere in Latin America. And thus, erstwhile colonial rulers try to maintain their sphere of influence in their erstwhile or former colonies. And these are given some sort of geopolitical polarization. And in the scope of political geography, we'll study these aspects as well, Commonwealth, etc. Then geopolitical theories. In order to explain and interpret political geography, some theoreticians, particularly geographers, have formulated several what's called theories, concepts regarding the various aspects of political geography. For example, heartland theory by Halford Mackinder, a British geographer who gave a theory like this, heartland theory, where he says, he who controls the heartland controls the world island. For those days, colonial period, it was applicable and significant. But by now this is the age of what's called not conventional warfare. Nations can use their intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and they have got other sophisticated appliance and weapons of mass destruction. So this is why, being a small country, one country can play important role. Example is Israel, located in the womb of the Middle East. Most of the countries and nations are hostiles. Israel plays very important hostile role in the heart of Muslim world. And they are being backed by the USA and European Christian nations. And they've become a formidable force. So the concept and theories at those times, these concepts and theories were applicable and justifiable. So in the scope of political geography, we'll study the heartland theory of Mackinder, the rimland theory of Spikeman, and so on. For the sake of knowledge, in order to explain Didan means তৎকালীন ভূ রাজনৈতিক পরিস্থিতির প্রেক্ষিতে ওই তত্ত্বগুলো ছিল। By now, in the modern days, the situation, circumstances, technologies have already been changed significantly. So those theories are not applicable. Still, these bear immense academic significance in order to widen the horizon of our knowledge and in order to explain the then situation of geopolitics, political geography, we may take resort to those theories and hypotheses. Not only that, by now, on the basis of today's situation and scenario, scholars have formulated and put forward some new theories of political geography. For instance, we know that Samuel P. Huntington, you have heard of name of Samuel P. Huntington? He has postulated a new theory only 3 decades back, which the title of which is the concept of conflict of what's called races. The exact name of the theory is the concept of, anyway, later on I'll tell you the Samuel P. Huntington's theory. So this is very much important. On the basis of that theory, scholars say that the existing peace and conflict situation in the world, fighting with the Muslim worlds, with the Western Christian-dominated West. Yes, the name of, now I can recollect, the name of that concept is the conflict of civilization. So this conflict of civilization is termed as clash of civilization. Samuel P. Huntington's theory's name is the clash of civilization. This is a modern day theory regarding the conflicts between the races and the fighting of today's Middle East with the Muslim country, with the non-Muslim world. Samuel P. Huntington, a Harvard scholar, he has put forward this theory, and it was raised a big hue and cry in the globe. And till today, scholars, particularly political geographers and geopolitical experts, have been arguing and debating on this concept, clash of civilization. And here we'll study the clash of civilization. My dear students, here in Bangladesh, we have got some geopolitical problems with India and our neighboring other countries. These include transportation related or connectivity related problems, these are called the transshipment transit problems with India, Asian highway, Asian railway problem, then problem of sub-regional grouping within SAARC and ASEAN. Some smaller groups are being created. And undoubtedly, these are the outcome of the geopolitical interests of the regional powers or nations. We'll study these aspects as well. Moreover, now we have been, particularly Bangladeshi people have been facing a problem related to the interest of Myanmar and Bangladesh, which is known as the Rohingya problem. And these have got geopolitical dimensions as well. We'll study these aspects. And we have got transboundary water problem or sharing of international rivers. These are also part of the discussion of political geography of Bangladesh or geopolitics of Bangladesh. India has constructed Farakka dams and many other dams on almost all the transboundary international rivers, violating the international norms. And as a result, our environment, our economy, and other water-related interests have greatly been disturbed. And this can be categorized under hydropolitics. Hydropolitics, you may note it down. Hydropolitics, water-related. Hydro means water, water-related politics. And in the scope of political geography, we'll discuss the causes and effects of these hydropolitics of India and Bangladesh. We have been suffering immensely because of this unilateral withdrawal of our international water from the international rivers by India, our bigger neighbor. And this is the utter violence of international norms. Then comes the delimitation of the international maritime boundaries. In the what's called last several years, Bangladesh claimed that we have victorious. We have won over the war on what's called ocean, Samudra Vijay. In Bangla, this is called mastered Samudra Vijay. Whether this Samudra Vijay is a fact or it is a myth, we don't know. As students of political geography, we'll discuss this. How far we are being benefited or we are defeated or what's called deprived of our due share in the coastal waters of the Bay of Bengal. What is the significance of this delimitation, demarcation of the international water boundaries between Myanmar and Bangladesh, between India and Bangladesh? In the scope of political geography, my dear young scholars will try to highlight these aspects as well. Hello. Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
তুমি তো একা বলছো, সবাই শুনছে তো, সবাইকে আনমিউট করতে বলো।
জি স্যার শুনছি।
জি স্যার শুনছি।
জি স্যার শুনতেছি।
Who can speak nicely can tell your opinion. How far do you understand today's class? Today's I try to what's called explain the syllabus and subject matter. So how far do you understand this? একজন বলো দেখি, কে ইংলিশ বলতে পারো, কে ভালো বলো, তারপর বাংলায় বলবা। Is there anybody who can tell me something about today's class? What have you learned from today's class? কি কেউ কি বুঝেছো আমি কি বলেছি? এই মেয়ে, তুমি উকি দিচ্ছ, তোমার নাম কি? হ্যাঁ, হিজাব পরা, মুখ চশমা, বড় চশমা, আব্বার চশমা লাগাইছো। হ্যাঁ, বলো কি নাম তোমার? এই ক্যাপ্টেন, তুমি বলো দেখি ওদের কথা বলতে। তোমাদের
আনমিউট করে কথা বলো। স্যার খাদিজা হোসেন।
হ্যাঁ,
ফার্স্ট গার্ল খাদিজা হোসেন স্যার।
আরে জান্নাত বেটা,
জান্নাত। তোমাদের শোনো, এই রক্তিম নাকি, তোমার নাম কি ক্যাপ্টেন?
স্যার সাকিব আল ফাহাদ স্যার।
সাকিব, who is the first boy or first girl in your class?
Sir, Khadija Hossain, sir, first girl.
So tell Khadija to say something on today's class. Today's class is basically the explanation of your syllabus. In this way you start. Sir, you have highlighted the syllabus aspects. In order to explain this, you are telling so and so. So you tell in this way. Khadija, don't keep mom and deaf.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, বলো।
স্যার আপনি আজকে পুরো কন্টেন্টটা বলেছেন, আমাদের পলিটিক্যাল জিওগ্রাফির যা যা আমরা পড়বো সাবজেক্ট ম্যাটারটা বলেছেন এতক্ষণ। এটা ডেফিনেশন, নেচার, স্কোপ, অবজেক্টিভ, তারপরে থিওরি, স্টেট নিয়ে আমরা কথা বলবো, সেটা ওয়ার্ল্ড পলিটিক্যাল প্যাটার্নস এর মধ্যে কি কি টপিক আসবে, ডেভেলপড কান্ট্রি, ডেভেলপিং কান্ট্রিজ, এগুলোর মধ্যে সম্পর্ক কিরকম, মানে ওয়ার্ল্ডের 3 ধরনের যে কান্ট্রিজ আছে, ডেভেলপিং,
So you
ডেভেলপড
think
এবং
that these are obviously be some interesting topics?
Yes,
You
sir.
think?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Very interesting.
then who is the second boy or girl? According to the
স্যার
previous result.
আশফাতারা জলি আর শামিমা।
So tell Jolly and Shamima to appear in the screen. Shamima and Jolly. Thank you. Khadija, thank you.
You are welcome, sir.
You are Shamima Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Which district you are from? তুমি কি বাড়ি থেকে বলছো? ঢাকায় না
Yes,
বাড়িতে?
স্যার বাগেরহাট, আমি বাড়ি থেকে বলছি, গ্রামের বাড়ি।
বাগেরহাটে।
জি স্যার।
বাগের সঙ্গে আছো, হ্যাঁ? বলো দেখি আমি কি বলেছি আজকের সারমর্ম বলো।
স্যার আপনি আজকে আমাদের সিলেবাসটাকে বুঝিয়েছেন, এখানে আমাদেরকে বুঝিয়েছেন জিওপলিটিক্যাল বিভিন্ন থিওরিজ আছে, সেখানে স্যামুয়েল পি হান্টিংটনের যে থিওরিটা আছে এটা বুঝিয়েছেন, মানে এটা সম্পর্কে একটু বলছেন। তারপরে ডেভেলপিং এবং ডেভেলপড কান্ট্রিগুলোর মধ্যে যে রিলেশন এবং কলোনিজম, তারপরে এখানে
কলোনিয়ালিজম।
জি স্যার।
কলোনিয়ালিজম, নট কলোনিজম, কলোনিয়ালিজম। বলতে থাকো।
ক্লাশ অফ সিভিলাইজেশন, এটা একটা মানে টপিক ছিল। বাংলাদেশে জিওপলিটিক্যাল কি কি প্রবলেমগুলো ফেস করি আমরা সেগুলো সম্পর্কে বলেছেন। এখানে ট্রান্স বাউন্ডারি, তারপর ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন যে প্রবলেমগুলো আছে, ওয়াটার বাউন্ডারিজ যে প্রবলেমগুলো আছে, তারপরে এখানে আমাদের বাংলাদেশে কি কি ভিকটিম আমরা যে ভিক্টোরি করেছি, মানে ওয়াটার শেয়ারিং যে বাউন্ডারিটা আমরা ভিক্টোরি করেছি এটা সম্পর্কে বলেছেন। আর
বিজয় আর পরাজয়,
স্যার হাইড্রোপলিটিক্স
in the light of academic interest we'll discuss this is a debatable
একটা বলেছেন। আর ন্যাশনাল পাওয়ার অফ নেশন, মানে আমরা বিভিন্ন কলোনিয়াল জমে যে শিকার হয়েছি এগুলো সম্পর্কে।
আচ্ছা এখন বলো দেখি এই ক্লাসটা কি ইন্টারেস্টিং হবে না সসো?
স্যার আশা করা যায় অনেক ইন্টারেস্টিং
মজা পাবে, খাদিজা মজা পাবে না? হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা দেন থার্ড কে বলো। থার্ড
স্যার সেকেন্ড আরেকজন আছে স্যার, আশফাতারা জলি স্যার।
বলো আশফাকতে আসতে, ও তো আমার খুব প্রিয় ছাত্র, সবাই প্রিয়, ওকে আদর করতাম, সামনে বসতো। ওই দেখি চেহারা মুবারক। কি নাম? আশফাক? ও তোমার নাম
আশফাতারা জলি স্যার।
আশফাতারা জলি। জলি কেমন আছো?
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ স্যার ভালো আছি। ভালো আছেন?
মহিলারাই ফার্স্ট সেকেন্ড থার্ড, মাশাআল্লাহ আমার মেয়েরা। হ্যাঁ ইউ সি আই লাভ মাই ডটার্স। হ্যাঁ ডটার্স আমার এক ছেলে আর 2 মেয়ে। আর তোমরা তো অনেক ছেলে মেয়ে আমার, তো মেয়েরা ভালো করলে আমার খুব ভালো লাগে। বলো জলি আজকে কি বুঝেছো?
স্যার আজকে আমাদের হচ্ছে লোকেশনাল এরিয়া বাউন্ডারিজ, রোল অফ পজিশন, আমার হচ্ছে পপুলেশন আমাদের স্টেটের জন্য মানে কি
পপুলেশন ডেমোগ্রাফিক কম্পোজিশন কিভাবে পলিটিক্যাল জিওগ্রাফিতে ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এইগুলো সবাই শেষের গুলো বলছে।
লোকেশনটা কিভাবে ইম্পর্টেন্ট, মানে কোথায় হলে আমাদের জন্য অ্যাডভান্টেজ, ক্যাপিটাল লোকেশন, ন্যাশনাল রিলেশন আছে, ফরেন রিলেশন। আর হচ্ছে
তুমি বুঝেছো, শোনো একটু থামো। সবাই বলেছে শেষের দিকে আমি যা বলছি জটিল গুলো, কিন্তু আমি তো আমার সিলেবাস বলতে গিয়ে প্রথমে এবিসি, আজকে জাস্ট সিলেবাসটা গতদিন যা শুরু করলাম আজকে সিলেবাসটা বুঝাইলাম, আর সিলেবাস বুঝাইতে গিয়ে এটা গুরুত্বটাও একটু বুঝিয়ে দিলাম। তো তোমাদের মজা লাগবে, বাবারা সবাই থাকবে, কারণ অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স আমরা সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছি যে 10 মার্কস থাকবে অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সে। প্লাস হলো গিয়ে অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স কিন্তু নেওয়া হচ্ছে সিরিয়াসলি, 2 জন নিচ্ছে, 2 জনই জানে না কাদের কাদের আসছে, সুতরাং কোনো চালাকি করবে না। আচ্ছা 2 নম্বর হলো যে তোমাদের একটা অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট দেবো প্রত্যেককে আলাদা আলাদা এই সাবজেক্ট গুলো থেকে, এবং সেখানে 10 পুরো 10 পরীক্ষা হয়ে যাচ্ছে 20। আর 10 হলো গিয়ে তোমাদের ভাইবা নেবো। এই যে যেভাবে কথা বলছি, যেমন আমার আজকে জলির আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিংটা ভালো লাগছে, 3 জনই ভালো বলেছো, কিন্তু জলি সে অরিজিনাল থেকে শুরু করেছে, শেষ পর্যন্ত সময় পাইলে আরো বলতো। এনিওয়ে 10 30 মার্কস। আর তারপরে হলো রিটেন হবে 40-এর মাত্র, 70-এর হবে না। সাবধান, রেজাল্ট ধরে রাখতে হলে, রেজাল্ট ভালো করতে হলে একটা সুযোগ, আর ধরে রাখতে হলে চ্যালেঞ্জ। হ্যাঁ, জলি তুমি ফার্স্ট হয়ে যেতে পারো, খাদিজা ফার্স্ট রাখতে পারো, আবার হেরে যেতেও পারো। এবং অন্য যে কেউ, হ্যাঁ, নজিমউদ্দিন নাদিম, তুমিও ফার্স্ট হয়ে যেতে পারো। সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে সময় শেষ। আল্লাহ হাফিজ। থ্যাংক ইউ এভরিবডি। হ্যাঁ, hope to see you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।